Let's be real. Let's talk about how you really feel. We're dropping all the hot topics. We're popping.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Let's Be Real. I'm Trisha, and you're here today with our new co-hosts, Joshua and Jill. Today, we would like to have a discussion on social media. What is its impact? Is it causing more harm than good to our mental health? Are platforms like Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram contributing to our mental health or contributing to depression, loneliness, or anxiety? Or are they major tools for connection? We all know that back in 2004, Mark created what was then called the Facebook, but now known as Facebook. Since its time, and what it was originally created for, because it was originally created for connecting Harvard students together so that they can communicate with one another. But since that time, we've seen its growth, and we have saw that it has expanded. And we know that people now use it for more than that. So today we would just like to talk about and discuss the pros and cons of using social media and all the different things that surround social media. So ladies, today, what are some of the major platforms that you use?
I used to use Twitter, and that's kind of faded away from me. But Facebook and TikTok and Snapchat, that's my three go-tos. If I'm going to post something, that's where you're going to find it.
Gotcha.
I use Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube, and LinkedIn.
Oh wow, now you use a lot. Now I usually use Facebook and then TikTok when somebody sends me a video, and then I also use Pinterest. Now with those particular platforms or any other platforms that you know of, what would you say some of the pros to using social media?
I want to say one of the main things that I look at is business.
Yeah.
There's so many business aspects of it to help major businesses as far as promotions, advertising, really customer service and things like that. But then also for your own business, it's so easy to be educated on different trades and learning things to create content and create things. So
Yeah.
Facebook is my main one, but I use it because we homeschool, and so many homeschool groups are on Facebook, and it's really a good way for us to communicate from mom to mom. And our church has a Facebook page, and we have several ministries that go outside of our church, and you can tap in and see those ministries there. And of course, we all know if you go to a Facebook page, there's the web page that you can click on and go over to the website as well. So there's a lot of pros to Facebook if you know the cons too, because there are some things that are not good. But for the most part, if you know how to protect yourself, I believe you would be okay with social media.
Correct. I totally agree, because it is a tool, one way that you can use it to connecting people. And then you take people who are like introverts, that's a way that they can use it and still be able to connect with people on the outside, whereas they normally wouldn't want to kind of like get in a crowd of people or have the nature of just walking up and meeting people. They'll do it on social media per se. So I do believe that one of the good things about it is connecting people, and then of course businesses, staying in touch with people who live far away. And then it's also good for information gathering if you don't, of course, click on some of that fake news. But I do believe that social media is a good tool if it's used correctly.
Yeah.
I really do.
You have to use it correctly. And you just said something about fake news. There's so many fake accounts on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok.
Right.
What are some of the other ones you named?
Pinterest.
And like they're everywhere. Fake accounts are everywhere. So you really got to know who you're talking to, and if it is a legit business or a legit person that you're speaking with.
I totally agree. Which brings us to now, let's talk about some of the cons to using Facebook.
I believe a few of the cons, like she said, fake accounts and scammers and things like that. I also think it can be time consuming and it can reduce people's attention spans.
Oh yeah.
A lot of the mental illnesses that we're more so experiencing now than in the past, I believe is because a lot of interactions have stopped, and everything's so internal. Even just as far as looking at TikTok and scrolling through, and then you're comparing yourself to somebody else, comparing your lifestyle to someone else, because the only things that are really being posted are the positive things and the lifestyle and all of that, but you really don't see the behind the scenes or any of the struggles or really, and so you start to consume yourself with this luxury idea living of someone else's life without really getting the reality of life itself.
Do y'all know what a snatcher is?
No.
A social media snatcher. They create this account to go in and snatch stuff to put it on the dark web and the deep web to sell.
Oh wow.
So it goes further than just social media.
Yeah.
The web in general, it's got a lot of dark stuff in it. Have y'all ever heard of the dark web and the deep web?
I've heard of it, but I don't know much information about it because I haven't researched it or anything like that.
The deep web, the dark web started before Facebook. It started in the year 2000. And then the deep web was created after the dark web, because you got to go even darker to go into the deep web. So, and you have to have special browsers, you have to have special stuff for your computer to go into that stuff. Like if you just punched in Google, it's not going to bring that stuff up. You've got to do some digging to get into that stuff. So what snatchers are doing, they're going to people's Facebook accounts, they're going to Twitter, they're going to Snapchat, and you think these people are your friends, and they may be there for like 39 seconds. That's how long it takes somebody to be hacked in America. It's 39 seconds, and on average 3,000 people are hacked every 39 to 40 minutes in America.
Well, now that is very scary. But some of that is caused by sharing too much information.
Yes, it is.
I honestly believe people share too much of their life on social media. And then also, I was seeing where some people that was talking about how they really don't want their kids on social media, like they don't want to post their kids' name, post their kids' information. And I totally respect that, because with what you said, you have no idea what information is being taken off of your page at any given time, and how you can already ruin your child's future just by putting too much information about your children out there on Facebook or any other social media for that matter.
Well, the FBI website says things that are found on the deep web and the dark web are sex trafficking, stolen information, stolen pictures of children and women. And these women are not naked. These children are not naked. They are clothed children that are just desirable to sex offenders. And they're selling them. I didn't know that. I always thought that the child had to be clothed a certain kind of way to be desirable, but according to the FBI warnings, they do not. They do not have to be dressed a certain way to be desirable. Social security numbers and home addresses.
Well, and I think it's also, and that's another one of the cons that we were discussing, because I think it's like a lot of the social media platforms require certain information to get in them.
Yes,
so
they do.
It makes it easy for identity theft, but then it's also like, well, if you're going to have an account, this is kind of what you have to place into building your account and creating your platform or whatever that looks like. Also, and that goes into another con of inappropriate content.
Yes.
Early for
Yes.
children and things like that, because outside of you just having evil people in the world,
Yeah.
you also have children who are growing up and looking like they're growing up
Yes.
so early. because of this early exposure.
Yeah, you
to
have
all
12
of
years
this.
olds looking like 22-year-olds.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Good.
Because you develop according to your exposure.
Yes.
And because of that, you have certain ones that's not telling their real age, and you have a whole bunch of different issues that start to come up due to social media being able to expose them to different words, lyrics, songs, lifestyles,
Yeah.
just a whole bunch of different things.
So I was perplexed to learn that over 30% of Americans access the dark web daily.
No,
30%?
that's a lot.
Yes. And the dark web and the deep web have grown over 300% in the last 3 years. Because the more content that is created, the more content that can be stolen, and the more content that can be sold. So they're making, you're a TikToker, correct?
Correct.
So you're out there making money on your TikTok, doing your thing. So they're making money off of you making money. I mean, I'm not saying yours has been stolen, but
Right.
some people, a person that has been stolen,
Right.
they see profit on the other side that we don't see, where evil lurks in the dark.
Right.
Wow, that's interesting. That is vital information to know.
Yeah, and you said that children.
Mhm.
I do not post our daughter at all. Most of our children are of the age where they can consent to being posted, and they do have social media, and they know the ins and outs of it. But my minor child, I don't feel like it's my responsibility to say, I'm going to post you. She's a minor.
Yeah.
I have to protect her, and it's at the end of the day, it's her body, and she doesn't have the ability to know whether it's a good time to post or it's a bad time to post, or who's watching her and who's not watching her. So I feel like as a mother, it's my responsibility to protect her at all cost.
And that's so true. I think it's because of lack of information. Because I've posted my son when he was younger, but it was because of lack of information. Like some of the stuff we don't even know, we can't even fathom. But all these different things are going on, daily. But we're living in a time now where people are just so evil. People have began to do things that at one point in time we didn't, think about that could happen today, but they're going on today, and we have to be wiser when we're using social media today.
Well, that brings me to a question. At what age is appropriate for a child to become a part of social media?
That's
You're the
great
younger one
question.
here, so.
That's a great question. I honestly believe once the child is at a point of understanding. Just because now, me personally, I don't believe if you have not reached middle school that you even need a cellular device, really.
Agreed.
Because everywhere else you go, you're going to be with a guardian.
Yeah.
And everyone talking about how necessary it is, but I didn't have my first cell phone until high school, so I don't think it's really that necessary.
Honey, we didn't have cell phones back in my day. They just came out right after I graduated, so there you go.
So I definitely, but if you're going to let your child have a cell phone, 9 times out of 10, they're going to build some type of social media, whether it is approved or not. So with that being said, I think at the level of understanding, and that's becoming earlier, due to just how the times are rolling, the children are smarter. They're a lot smarter, and they're very much aware. And so I think with that being said, once they are aware and made known, I believe it's important to teach the importance behind it and what social media can be good for, but then also the cons of it, that we do teach that. But I do think if you want to make it appropriate, it's fine.
Well, back to children, I think it has damaged mental health amongst young people. I truly do. The need to keep up and be like the next person and become famous like TikTok so-and-so is mentally challenging. And why is she getting the views but I'm not? And if I was prettier, if I was sexier, if I was buffer, or, I think that plays a role in our young people's mind.
I totally agree. If I had it to do all over again, at the time, I don't think even social media was a big thing when my son was young. So just if I had young children, I probably would definitely keep them from it until they was probably like 18. And one of the reasons why I would do that personally is because I have no doubt that it hinders their academics.
Yes.
I have no doubt that if they get caught up into social media, they will spend more time on social media than they would in those books. And you would see their grades going down. And I think that is a con to young people having social media that are still in high school. Yeah. They're going to always spend more time on that than they would in their books, because we can't forget social media is addicting.
Yes,
it is addicting. And people don't even realize they have an addiction to social media. But when you wake up, if the first thing you do is have to get on Facebook or TikTok or whatever platform it is and look and scroll, you are addicted. You are addicted. And it causes you to procrastinate. You're going to put off some of the vital duties that you need to do at home or wherever just to spend that time scrolling. And you can scroll for an hour plus.
Right. I agree. I definitely think it's important that's why at home parents are really teaching their children the necessities of like who they are. Not that you can show them their identity, but you can help mold who they are and really teach them who they are, because the truth is, as harmful as it can be to things like as education and things like that, you also have more little children who's already hairstylists, who already have businesses, who's already learned so many different trades through social media, that to completely say we're not going to do it until you get math, social studies and science and things like that, you kind of hinder those from who may not go to college but may be good at cars and who already learned how to create a business and become a multimillionaire through learning what they learned through social media.
I totally disagree with you on that. I don't think kids need social media at all. I mean, well, I don't think they need to be alienated. What's the word? Alienated. I don't think they need to be that word. Yeah. But I think they have too much of it. And you have so many parents creating profiles for these kids because they're not even old enough to have a profile of their own. Mm-hmm. So they have it up under a parent. Mm-hmm. So then you have a parent saying, okay, I'm okay with this. But I disagree. I don't think young people need TikToks. I don't think they need Facebook and Snapchat. And Snapchat can get you in a lot of trouble real quick. And because the message goes away. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot easier to hide. But I just don't feel like kids in general have no business being on any social media platform.
For some parents, that's their bag. That's their money. I agree with you. I agree with you. But, you see a lot of parents with their children having these pages because they're cute. And the different things that they do, that helps bring in money. So I guess if their page is monetized or whatever, and they're getting it off of their kids, because some people like to watch kids do adorable things. And so therefore they get in a lot of likes and shares and everything from that. And so I've seen it to where parents constantly make videos of their children, and that's their way of making money. But I agree with you, Chili, on the with the point of I don't think they should have, especially with me knowing how it is now and how dangerous it can be. I just wouldn't put my child through that trauma in the long run, even if they may be the one or the two that don't have to be faced with some of the dangerous stuff that's out there. I just wouldn't want to risk it. I really wouldn't. But from a parent who's making money off of it, I'm sure they would totally disagree with me.
Yeah, there was this TikToker that was talking about how one company paid their daughter $3,000 to put on one of their shirts because she was cute and adorable. $3,000. And she said, the TikToker said that she became very uncomfortable because she started looking at the friends, like who's following, and she said over 60% were men. And she said that really unnerved her. And I think she shut it down. I don't think they do it anymore. But she was like giving her testimony of, and I was just perplexed that one company paid her daughter $3,000 to simply put a shirt on and say, I like it.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at with this day and time with social media. It's a platform not only to connect with friends and family, it's cha-ching, baby.
It is.
It's cha-ching.
It really is. And what do y'all think about the fact that everybody seems to feel like they can have an opinion on somebody else's life? Do y'all just go and look at the comments sometimes? I know.
Comments be popping, I'm going to tell you.
For sure.
I know that causes a lot of depression, especially because let's just take athletes for an example. I just think people are so hard on athletes. They feel like they have a say in their lives. Oh, well, you didn't do this right that night or whatever during a game. And people are so mean. They are so mean. And you don't even know the person. You have no idea what they're going through or anything like that. But you are being so vocal on their page or whatever is advertised about them. And then this is the key that they always say. Well, you shouldn't be a public figure if you if I don't get
agree with them on that.
I don't know.
I kind of agree.
Okay, so not necessarily someone that plays pro ball or basketball or is a professional in tennis player or something. You really didn't have a choice. Like that came with the package. Like you're just like all the Olympians that's now in Paris. That's just part of the package deal. Because people hating on Simone. I mean, what'd she do? I mean, So, but people on TikTok that are promoting themselves and they're putting themselves out there, baby, you ask for it. Because once you invite somebody into your life, you have no control. Once you post, you have absolutely no more control over what you just posted.
Right, and that can be a comment, that can be a picture, that can be anything. And even going into professional fields, I don't think that people should be so harsh. I don't think people should say the things they say. But I also think that's, again, formulating into more so knowing who you are. And that's a huge struggle because that's where social media kind of cons in. But it's so important outside of social media that parents are intentional with teaching these things, just because when you hit quote unquote real world, whether it's social media or outside of social media, you have no control over people's viewpoints of yourself outside of you being who you are. And with that being said, even on social media, it's cyberbullying and all those types of things, and people can be super harsh. But when you build any type of lifestyle around social media or anywhere that's going to be involved with social media, and in this day and time, it's pretty much everything, you have to be strong in who you are, because you're not going to ever be able to stop the hacks and the...
No, I don't agree with the hate. Now, that's not what I'm trying to say. I don't agree with the hate. I think people should learn how to control themselves, and some things just do not need to be said. But at the same time, if I'm going to go out there and I'm going to post my content, you already know everybody's not going to agree with what you just said. So therefore, you've got to prepare yourself for the backlash, because Debbie Downer over there, she going to have something to say, whether you like it or you don't. You can, it's just what it is. What's the young people say? It is what it is.
And I agree with all of the preparing yourself, and you can't control other people, from saying different things. I'm just saying I don't like it, and I don't think that is right, because even though people do post it, and even though you do hit the post button and you are putting yourself out there, nobody is putting themselves out there to be criticized. Like, nobody has in their mind, okay, when I put this out there, I'm putting myself out there to be criticized. So that's the reason why I say I don't like it. I don't think it's right. And people need to watch what they say and how they comment negatively on somebody else's post, because some people are just genuinely trying to make another dollar, or they're trying to genuinely inspire or either promote something that they have, some business that they have. Take us for an example. We are trying to inform people about the pros and the cons of social media.
Right.
We got this content that'll go out there. People will watch it and see it. I am not, just because I put this out there, I am not inviting nobody to say, oh, you didn't get that word right. You need to get off that couch.
But they going to.
They may. But I'm saying I did not put it out there for that. I put it out there to make people aware of social media, the pros and the cons of it. If I don't get a word right, or if I don't say something like you like it, keep it to yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I get the fact that people will not keep it to themselves. But that all goes into basically how it harms other people's mental health. Because on another end, you have somebody that talk about, oh, we need to, you never know what somebody is going through and all this, that, and the other. But yet, on the other hand, you put out negative comment on somebody else's post.
But you have to be kind of careful with the negative comments, because, correct me if I'm wrong, bloggers, YouTubers, TikTokers especially, have trolls that go on there and spawn this negativity and that evil whatever was spoken to create more views.
Oh, well, they asked for it then. If you go and do that.
Be careful when you go to the comments and you start reading, because some of those were spawns. They were trolls that go in there, and because the more comments you get, the more you keep it going, the more ka-ching you make it. So you kind of got to be careful when you're reading the comments.
And because we're living in a day and time that loves drama.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Yeah. Another con to using social media is that it exposes us to so much violence. People now are committing suicide on Facebook and, different social media platforms. And then whenever they see violence, they feel the need to record. Everybody wants to pull their phone out now and record situations that, to me, it's an emergency. Why are you pulling out your phone? But they want to record so they can post it on some type of social media platform. And so I just think these platforms expose us to so much violence now. And we have to be careful for the things that we just continually put in our mind and download on our brains. What are some of the other things that are out there that y'all are aware of?
Gaming has so desensitized our children. It's unrealistic. They live in some children, not all children, live in a gaming world. They have hard times distinguishing between real life and game life. And have y'all ever heard of the platform Twitch?
I have.
I'm pretty sure you have. Did you say your friend games a lot? You have a gamer friend? Yeah. Twitch is the #1 website for sex offenders. And I don't see how they allow them on there. Like, is there not a system that checks these people? Like, I don't know. Like, that's a question I would love to explore. Why do sex offenders have the right to be able to join any kind of website that children could possibly be a part of?
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with that. You just don't ever know. Nowadays, they can get a hold to just almost anything nowadays. And it's just scary. And that's why I personally don't think children should be on social media, any type of social media at all. Well, that wraps up this episode. We hope that you have learned something from today. Just be aware, be conscious of the different things that social media brings, the pros, the cons. and just be aware and try to keep your children informed. So that's all for today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. Be sure to like, comment, and share this episode. Thank you.
Let's be real. Let's talk about how you really feel. We're dropping all the hot topics. We're popping and there's no stopping it. Let's talk about it. We got you covered. Sophisticated, innovative like no other. Giving you the latest news on a daily. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Now is the hour, so tune in. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. It's the movement. Get into it. Tell all your friends.